Welcome into another bonus question here on Hockey Inside Out. The question is, Kirby Dach, where does he best fit with the Montreal Canadiens? If you look at his point projection for this year, we're looking at 8 goals, 41 assists for 50 points for a full 82-game schedule. Stu, where does Kirby Dach best fit on this roster?
Well, he's fitting pretty good right now playing with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. I mean, that's been a rotating position of different guys being put in there. Marty St. Louis trying all different kinds of guys. Dach, is mainly a centerman, but he has a hard time winning faceoffs. So his future with this team might be as a winger. And possibly, as I said, moving forward with Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. They seem to play well together, both 5-on-5, and they're together when they're on the power play also. When Kent Hughes made that trade at the draft to get Dach, he's only 21 years old. Was a 3rd overall pick in the NHL draft, and he was captain of Team Canada World Junior Team until he broke his wrist in a preseason or an exhibition game at that tournament. So there's a pedigree there. There's a lot of upside for him. Things didn't work out for him in Chicago, but things don't work out with young players, especially the pressure of being a high first-round pick for a lot of guys. Jesperi Kotkaniemi here in Montreal, similar situation. So it's easy to forget he's only 21 years old. He's really young. Now, if you get him and Suzuki and Caulfield and you keep them together for a long time, that's 3 young, really talented guys. That could be a really good fit. I know Dach likes playing with them. Suzuki likes having Dach on the line. He brings a lot to that line. He's got a smart hockey IQ. He's a bigger body. He can win some puck battles, get some rebounds. So I think that's a fit for him. And I think it's one of those trades where Ken Hughes he's trying to build this team around guys that are in that 20, 21, 22, 23 age group. And a lot of the trades he's made have been, instead of getting a 1st or 2nd round pick, is getting a player who was already selected in the 1st or 2nd round pick and developing them. And development is a big thing with this team this year. And it's going to be interesting to see how Kirby Dach develops moving forward. He has something to prove here in Montreal after things didn't work out in Chicago. And, playing with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, that's a pretty good position to be put in to prove yourself.
Yeah, I think the point production isn't amazing so far for Kirby Dach. 3rd overall pick. You maybe want a little bit more of that, but it's important to note that, shooting percentage usually increases as a player gets more comfortable, and he's looked fantastic on that top line. But the big thing that stood up to me for Kirby Dach is no matter where he's been put this year, he has been incredibly strong. He leads the team in shot attempt differential, in expected goals for differential. He's 2nd on the team in high danger scoring chance differential, behind the incredibly sheltered Mike Hoffman, which is continually shocking that Mike Hoffman is on the positive side of the ledger. By the eye test, he looks terrible, but what can you do? But the big thing for me is that line with Caulfield and Suzuki has been scoring this season, but they've been getting caved in defensively, taking top line matchup minutes, playing in front of Goulet and Savard for the most part. That group of 5 has just been getting caved in on the defensive side, but they put Dach up there. And all of a sudden for 2 games, that line is absolutely dominating territorially. And that is extremely interesting because if you're dominating territorially, you're also going to get Caulfield and Suzuki more opportunities to create offense and less opportunity to mess up defensively. So if you can create a powerful line for those two to get extremely comfortable with, and Dach stays there, who cares if he's not going to play center? It doesn't really matter. Kent Hughes has already shown an ability to acquire centers. I don't think it's something to worry about, and they're going to get a great player in this year's draft anyway. I know some people are concerned about Dach not winning faceoffs or whatever, but if you're not winning faceoffs and you're still dominating territorially, don't worry too much about faceoffs either. Right now, he's demonstrating that he can play center or wing. That's a fantastic amount of versatility for a player like Kirby Dach.
Didn't Mark Bergevin tell us for years it was impossible to acquire centers?
Something like that. You can only do it on PlayStation,
very,
I believe.
Very hard. You couldn't do it, right? Geez, yeah. Kent Hughes, with no experience as a GM, only experience as a player agent, comes in and he doesn't seem to have a problem. And you think back to when they were trying to hammer the square peg Jonathan Drouin into the round hole as a centerman when he first came here. And what a change where the Canadiens can have a guy like Kirby Dach and say, okay, we'll move him to the wing. We have enough other guys to play center.
To Mark Bergevin's credit, I guess he did acquire Nick Suzuki, but on the other hand, he wanted Cody Glass.
Mm-hmm. Rick, your thoughts?
No, I was saying I like where he's playing right now on the top line. I mean, here's a guy that's got some size. He can complement those other guys by getting to the net, getting pucks, out of the corner. He's tied for third for scoring on the hockey club. 21 years old. Stu touched on that. He's still a young guy, and he's got tremendous upside and potential to be a real good player. And he's just fine tuning it as a young winger centerman. A good player. He's got potential to expand and become a real good addition. And I think on that line, I believe that he's going to do some great things to complement those other two.
Yeah, it's easy to forget, hey, Rick, how young a lot of these guys in this team are. Caden Gooley, 20. Kirby Dach, 21. Jordan Harris, 22. Cole Caulfield's 22. I think you can't remember how old he is right now, but they're so young, and that's why this team moving forward, and there's a bright future for this team, and they're fun to watch right now.
Well, we'll find out how the future will hold for this franchise moving forward. If Kirby Dach does hit 50 points, I think that would be a pretty successful first year for him as a Montreal Canadien. Submit your questions and your comments here on Hockey Inside Out, and we'll talk about it for a future bonus episode. And don't forget, check out the YouTube page, subscribe to that, and also sign up for the newsletter for Hockey Inside Out on MontrealGazette.com/newsletter. And for full episodes and bonuses, check out Hockey Inside Out for all of that and more. We'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.